Hello, welcome back. We're going to create our little bead that goes to the side. Now this is just making a bead nugget, and they look like this once you've rolled them up. And if you don't want to do that, what you can do is before you attach your spine in the inside, you want to make sure you insert your eyelet so you can attach like a chunky charm. But you want to do that before you attach your spine in, otherwise you're not going to be able to get the jump ring through. Now to create one of your little bead nuggets, what you're going to need is some toothpicks, random selections of old paper, books, book pages, printer paper if you want to stamp on it. You know, Hobby Lobby has these really cheap paper packs from Paper Studio when they put it at 50%. You can get these. Now this I got it at a yard sale, so I think I paid like $1 from the lady that was getting rid of it. But you can use this because this is very thin. See what I mean? You want something that's thin. You don't want something that's very, very thick. So this here is perfect because it's got all kinds of random, it's one-sided, it's very super thin, but it's perfect for these little bead nuggets, okay? So if you're gonna make a lot of it, you can use this this paper. But if you have old book pages, old phone books, whatever you have, school books, just coffee dye it, cut it up, and use it for this. Now I'm going to use this one, and because it's got green in it, but this is how I normally do. I cut little strips out, and I just sit down and I start rolling them and put them in a little container like that so that I can then embellish it. So the supplies you're going to need, this is one of those little spaghetti pool thingies that you beat yourself up in a pool. I just cut it in half, and I'm going to attach my beads to it so that it can dry there. You need some toothpicks, Mod Podge, 24 gauge wire or 26, something that's not thick because it's really hard. Of course I have my Mod Podge here sitting, a paintbrush. You can use some distress ink, some eyelash trim or ribbon, wire cutter, flat nose, and a round nose plier. So you need a flat nose, round nose, and wire cutters, okay? You can use beads, little seed beads. You can also use sequins, anything you want to embellish yours. Now these little spacers or caps, bead caps, I got these at Amazon. I will link it below so you guys can grab that. You will need that as well. So I think I covered it all. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut these paper strips into little triangles, almost like a triangle base, where it's narrow on one end and it just keeps escalating. And I just cut it like this, and then just create random little triangles. And you could probably sit there and use your paper cutter, but that's just too much timing. Or you can tear it up with your hands, however you want. But you just want them almost like in an angle where it starts going up narrow on one end, okay? Sorry, so you guys get the idea, right? All right, I'm not going to show you the whole thing because then we'll be here forever. Grab your strip. Let's do this one. And grab your paper clip, or not paper clip, your toothpick. I've done, the reason I say paper clip is because I've done paper clips as well. I'll show you. And you can attach a little bead charm to it. Alright, start with the widest area, and you're going to wrap that paper clip, or why am I keep saying paper clip? I got paper clip on my mind. You're going to wrap your paper around the toothpick. You don't want to glue this down yet because then you'll glue it. You want to be able to remove the toothpick from the paper. So just kind of wrap it up gently. There we go. and get it a nice little wrap. There we go. And then after a couple little wraps that it's tight, you want it tight, and excuse my nails, guys, then you'll take a little bit of that Mod Podge and just kind of put it in there so that it kind of gets into place, and then wrap, wrap, wrap. Okay, grab Mod. Just rolling it, that's it. That's all to it. No biggie. And you can sit here while you're watching TV and roll these suckers and have your little own bead nuggets. So you can make your own beads. And I just go in randomly here and there. Give it a little tug with the Mod Podge. Okay. I also use like distress inks to make it a little bit more vintage. And there we go. And that's all to it. It's not very hard, guys. That's it. That's all that's to it. And then take your Mod Podge, because you want to kind of seal that. And I just kind of, and also gives it a nice little gloss to it. You can use like glossy accent or diamond glaze. Diamond glaze is a little expensive for my blood. Mod Podge does the job, and I'm okay with it. Mod Podge also has this dimensional glue too that you can use. Alright, so once you're okay with it, slide it off. You can slide it off once it's dried. And you can see it slide off very easily. Pop it in to your little makeshift stand. And what I do is I go in and I kind of give it a little bit of a Mod Podge so that it's glossy and pretty. And then I let it dry, and then I come in with the vintage photos and I distress it with that, and then I put more Mod Podge. Basically, that's how I do. Okay, so then let's do another one. Grab another strip, and I'm going to go a little bit more narrow on this little side here. Make it another toothpick. I think the toughest part is getting it started, because you gotta get it in there really good. But once you get it started, see, it's fairly easy. And you could also use, I think the most affordable way is toothpicks, of course, but you could also use paper clips, open them up, just to use it as well. But why use paper clips when you can use, you know, kind of get this one more centered over here. Some are going to be a little bit top heavy, like this one's going to be a little bit top heavy. That's alright. That's what makes it unique. Not all beads are going to be the same. And just know that. Don't beat yourself on it, because not all beads are going to be the same. And that's what makes this a whole unique kind of thing, that you're making your own little bead. And They're not always going to all look the same. Kind of coerce it a little to where you want it. And manipulate it a little. Okay, get to the end, seal it off, and apply some Mod Podge. Just to give it a nice little glossy sealed finish to it. And then, like I said, once the Mod Podge dries up, then you can take your vintage photos or whatever distress ink you want. You put some glitter in there, you know, make it shimmery. Pop it right in there. Easy peasy. And I just make a couple of these at a time. I'm going to trim this one off as well. I almost want to make it to look like a triangle. And you can measure them up. I just don't have time to sit there and measure everything, guys. You could probably take your paper and just kind of... So here's another one. And I just sit here and I do this and just work it through. See how easy that is? It's super easy. And the easy part also is, you know, as much as you might want to think that, oh my God, we got to wrap the wire, that is super easy. It's not, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, it's a one-of-a-kind bead, and you make it however you want. You know, it doesn't have to be super duper perfect. It's your bead. You're making this little bead nugget. I said nugget. So, there you go. See? Now this little idea, I got it from Shabby. She showed me, she's made furniture out of scrap paper and newspapers and jewelry. She made some really cute earrings, and they're adorable. And then, of course, there's a lot of bead tutorials out there for these little bead nuggets. And you guys can check those out as well, so you could see how they do it. I know in the Bohemian group, they do a lot of these Bohemian ones. So I want to do one with the paper, the book paper. So see, triangle. Start on the wider area, the wider part. I gotta get my nails done. I think I'm gonna have to get acrylics, because every time I have my hands, I'm constantly having my hands in water. Nail polish doesn't seem to want to last, and I'm gonna have to get one of those little home kits to do your nails, like acrylic nails, because I can't afford to go out and get my nails done. But I'm gonna have to go out and get one of those kits, because my nails are, I hate my nails to be ugly, but then again, I can't afford to go out and get my nails done. That is just not in the budget, guys. And my kids are getting on my nerves. They're not on my nerves, but they're like constantly getting on my case about my hair. Mom, you need to get it dyed. Alright. I have to pick and choose what's more important, right? Food on a table, get your hair done. Food on a table, get your hair done. I think food on a table is more valuable. Okay. Okay, so this one's a little bit thinner. I could have gone a little bit wider on this, added more. But I'm okay because again, that all beads are going to look, and once you start putting all your little threads in here, it's not going to be so noticeable. Trust me, it's not. You don't want to get glue on your little toothpicks either, okay? So just do that. Grab your little strips and create your own little bead nuggets. And let me see if this one's almost dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my vintage photos and I'm going to give it a bit of vintage look in there. Like so. Then I'm going to go back in with my Mod Podge and seal the deal. There we go. Put it back in, let it dry. It's going to harden up. Yeah, they dry pretty fast, believe it or not. My husband got me this little spinning wheel. I haven't tried it. I have to try it so that when I'm applying like glossy accent or the dimensional Mod Podge dimensional, it rotates it, and so I get an even coating, because you can also make it more dimensional. I probably put too much Mod Podge on my desktop, but that's okay. Alright, so we'll seal that one there, and I see this one. Yep, it's dried. They dry up pretty fast. Pretty fast. And put a little bit more here. And again, let's go back in with the Mod Podge and seal the deal. Just going to even it out. Even out where maybe some too much Mod Podge. Alright, so we're going to let that dry, and then once that dries, all we have to do is start attaching beads. And the way we attach beads, since I already have some done, just grab a nugget here. Very simple. Here's one that's already done. I'll let those dry up and I'll show you how that works. Okay. Grab your little spacers or bead caps, sorry. These are like little random ones. Let's see if I can find two that are the same. Oh, right there. Okay. Grab your wire. And don't cut it off. Keep it on your little spool if you can. Okay, put your bead cap in, put your nugget in, and your other bead cap. Okay, grab your pliers, grab your round nose, hold it in, take the one end, bend it back, wrap it around that wire, and you want to wrap it up a couple times, however times you want, but get close to it, and then pull it out, and then you're left with a little eyelet like that. I wish I can zoom in, guys. But, aside from the fact that I have issues with my audio, the camera's been acting up too. And it's fairly old camera, so alright, so there you go. You're left with something like that. Okay, bring all this stuff back up. That's why I said leave it on the wire. It's easier if you left it on the wire. Now here, what you can do, what I do is, at this point you have your bead cap in there. You could add a little bit of glue in here so that it's not wobbling, like so that it's not shifting in there if you don't want it to shift too much. And that way your bead cap is kind of acting like it needs to sit there. Put it there, hold it in place like that until it's kind of fairly in place. Then you take, you can take a forceps to hold it in place so it's not shifting down here, right? You can grab like your threads or your fabrics, whatever you want to add. I'm going to add a little bit of this fabric here because it's almost like a Christmassy color. I don't know if it'll go with that out. Let's see. Yeah, it does. Oh, I'll snip a little bit of that. Not too much. I'm just going to grab a little bit of fibers. Just a little. And with my Mod Podge, oops, I got my paintbrush on it. Again, I'm not worried about the fibers, kind of. You want fibers, that's what gives it a uniqueness. Mod Podge dries clear, so no worries there, guys, either. That shouldn't be a fear either. It's actually a good thing. I just took a little bit of that, snipped it off. It's got little fibers popping and trying to come make its appearance out, and that's cool. I like that. Okay. Grab your little fiber or your eyelash trim. Attach it to one end and just keep working your way. And just wrap wrap, 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 and that's it. You know, it's all to it, guys. Super easy. Then when you're satisfied, you can snip it. Let that dry up. And let's make sure my now remember, the Mod Podge acts as a sealant. Let's see, my little fabric moved here. My fabric shifted a little, so I gotta move that and glue it down again. Let it dry completely, and then you're going to take that wire that's on the other end and you're going to come back in and you're going to wrap that baby all the way around. So this is getting all kinds of goodiness. Okay. Go. Alright, so I added another layer of some eyelash yarn, and I have attached it and glued it, and everything looks great. Now what I'm going to do, and what I find easier to do, is I'm going to take my flat nose plier. I just find that this way it's easier and it looks better if you just make your little bead eye thingy, whatever you call that, loopy thingy, I forgot already. And then you take your wire and you wrap it around. So we're going to go ahead and take the wire, bend it back, and let's go a little bit closer. And I'm just going to wrap it around, and I'm wrapping it around the wire, the original wire, okay? Alright, pull it out. Then you have like an eye pin, snip it. Now some people take that same wire and they just keep wrapping it. I just kind of like not having the wire that way. I'd rather have it where I wrap the wire around underneath the bead cap, and I'll explain better here. Right. So you want to, once you cut it, cut the wire, just kind of flatten it out with your flat nose so it's not sticking out and cutting anybody. So you'll have an eye pin like that. And let me, hold on a second. Yeah. Okay. So now I have it on both sides. Now what I'm going to do is, and I can feel the little sharpness of when I cut right there, so I just take my little flat nose and flatten that piece of wire that's popped out. There you go, better. So basically I'm going to do it in slow-mo without all the fibers. So take your wire, round nose plier, and wrap it down, pull it down, and then you're going to take the one that's on your your spool and just wrap that around several times around your object, okay? Just wrap it around, and wrap it around, and you're wanting to wrap like that. See, just keep wrapping around that main wire, and you're left with something, and it'll look prettier than that. My nails look kind of grody. Sorry about that. So it'll look like that. Then snip closer to the wire, and then take your round nose plier and just kind of flatten that out, that little piece that's protruding, a piece that's sticking out. Flatten it out. Take your round nose, straighten out that eye, and then you're left with something like that. Okay, so again, I'm going to do it again. So pretend this is my my piece that I've inserted to my bead. Bend the one wire back. Keep it on your spool. It just makes it a lot easier if you keep it on your spool. And then twist it like that. And then just keep twisting around that main wire until, you know, pull it out and you have that. Okay? And then snip close. That's all to it. That's all you have to do. Now, you can take beads, and I'll pull out some beads. You can take little sequences if you want to add sequences. But there's little seed beads that you can use. Let's add a little bit of color. These are from Dollar Tree. So let's add a little bit of a color pop to this. You don't want the seed beads to be really, really big. I don't know why they put all this gook on this stuff. Gosh, it makes it harder to get this stuff out. Now, I did find that with these seed beads from Dollar Tree, they're the little container, you can see, because I opened up. Let me see if my other one's better. I'm struggling. All right, let's do this one because I don't want to deal with that. But you can use those. A little container, you'll have to swap it out into another container because that little container is flimsy and you're going to have beads everywhere, and that's why you're going to have to probably put it in a little baggie like this one. This one has gold and I like it because we're going with a little bit of a Christmassy stuff. Alright, so take your wire, get some beads in there. And I'm just going to do random beads. And you can wrap. It doesn't have to be, again, this is a little crazy bohemian thing, you know. It doesn't have to be super duper perfect. Okay. And once you have whatever you want on it, you can wrap this around your little chunky bead nugget however you want, you know. Again, it doesn't have to be a particular way. It's however you want it. It's your design. Alright, so I say I have this and I'm perfect with it. I can then take, again, keeping it on the spool, and if you don't want this stuff to be rolling all over, just take your little forceps, clip it wherever so it's not moving everywhere. That way it's not going anywhere. And underneath your bead cap, this is what I found looks a little bit more cleaner. Take this wire and wrap it around a couple times underneath the bead cap. That way it's not so noticeable. Okay, wrap it around a couple times and get the other one that's kind of lingering there and flatten that out. And I'm just using the flat nose at this time. I'm just feeling to make sure no wire is kind of popping out. It's going to cut anybody. So then take your wire and just wrap it around the bead however you want till you get to the other side. And I am going to probably cut some of this off. Right around so. Okay, because I'm going to add some bead on the other side. So see, just wrap it randomly, like so. I'm going to grab my bead here and use the little wire to pick up your bead. And this stuff is a lot easier if you have your glasses. I don't know why I keep forgetting. I keep saying I'm going to go and get my glasses, and I forget that I need to get my glasses to work with these tiny things. I really don't. I dislike wearing my glasses because they, the girl tighten them really bad in the back, and it starts to rub on my ears and my side of my head. Then I get a headache, and then, yeah. So I am trying to, I want to get them fixed. Keep telling Eric I got to get these fixed because they bother me. I can't be without them. Oops, just made a big mess. Can't be without them, but then when I'm with them, it's like it bothers me. You might want to get like a felt so your bead's not flying all over and rolling all over the place, which I should have done that. I just got lazy and used my mat. Y'all know I don't like to be pulling out all the tools, and I know I should for video purposes, but it is what it is. Let's see if I can get some peripheral vision here so I can see what I'm doing. It's so horrible. Literally. Barely see the seed beads. They're so tiny. Okay, so. Oh, there's another bead that went down. Good thing I don't spend a lot on this. Okay. So wrap. Oh, wow, it's pretty. Look. Wrap. And then you can go back up. Wrap some more. So let me get more in here. Let's toss this stuff out. Get like a little felt, piece of felt, or one of those little beading mats so you don't have beads all over the place. I'm going to get this little piece of, maybe I can see them better there. Okay, so you guys get the idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get all this full on my wire, because this tutorial is like a lot longer than I anticipated. So this is going to be a couple parts. I'm just going to load it up on a couple parts because it looks like it's a long tutorial, and it shouldn't be, but it's kind of hard to get these tutorials down. I don't know about you guys, but it takes a while to edit these videos, and it just takes the fun out of it. It really does. You know, because if you were doing it on real time, you wouldn't be able to edit. You know, when you're teaching live in a classroom, you can't edit that. That's just it is what it is. So I think that's my biggest struggle, is that I spend so much time editing, and it takes the fun, the joy out of creating. So get it in, wrap it, and you can go back up, and see I'm going back up, and I'm going to wrap more beads, and then before I get to the top I'm going to show you how I'll shut that off. Okay, so now I'm just going to wrap. See, I got it all wrapped up, and now I'm going to go in right underneath that bead cap. I'm just going to wrap that wire underneath and kind of make it disappear in there and pull it. Use your flat nose and kind of tighten it in there. And flatten it up so it's not protruding or sticking out or cutting anything, you know. So there is that little nice little bead that you can use for the side of your albums as a charm on a piece of jewelry. I felt a piece of wire popping out there. Okay. And voila! Gorgeous little piece of chunky bead nugget, right? Okay, that is going to go on the side here. And what I like to do is I take those two little eye pins and I kind of smush them down flat like that, and then I use fabric tack. It's what I attach it to, because fabric tack is good on metals. You can see I use it here, and it's also good for paper and wood. So I just use fabric tack. It glues a lot faster. So we're going to attach that just like so on the side there. But before we do that, I have this little baby here, and we're going to attach that to our book. Okay, so actually, oh, I wanted to talk to you guys. This is the Mod Podge dimensional that you can also apply some of this on it and kind of create like a capsule dimensional effect on it. And if you do that, what I do is I take a paper clip that I open up, I slide it through here. I have these little paper clips, and I apply it, and then I take a paper cup or something and I lay these down so that if it drips inside that paper cup, and that way I create a little capsule, and you can do it that way as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply this because we want to get this in as fast as we can. And I flatten those two pieces down, kind of figure out where I'm going to go, and I take my fabric tack, find where there's the best amount of fabric, put a good amount of it, and just stick it on. Make sure it makes good contact with your paper, and you should be good. You should be golden. And let it sit there for a bit, and then you can come in, you can put some brads down here if you want to hold those two pieces down. And I might just do that. I might put some brads in like that. And that is just pretty much the logistics of that. So you've got an idea of how to make your little chunky nuggets, and I showed you guys how to do the front of the album. And so the next thing we're going to do is work on the attaching the spine to the cover and attaching all the little embellishments for this kit. Now make sure you guys go check out the link to purchase this little digital kit. If you have any questions, send me a message and hopefully I'll be able to help you answer some questions. Okay, so until the next video, guys, bye bye.